Monkey? What happened? What's that going on? Are you a happy schmappy little pappy? Is that what you are? Yeah, you get that red wine earlier. That was delicious. I'll be fat boy. What do you think? What's going on with you? Huh? Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's Houston with Problem. Problems abound. There's plenty. They're everywhere. The fat guy here, he went to the vet today. Actually, both of them went to the vet, but Monkey couldn't really have anything done because apparently it's too soon after her chemo treatment. So they're going to do all our vaccines in the spring. But fat guy got his vaccines, and he has lost 2 pounds. And the vet was very excited about that. I think it has to do with the fact that he no longer has to get his pill every morning in a whole bunch of fatty food. It's because there's a kitten who will like eat up his pills. I can just crush it and sprinkle it over his kibble. And that way we cut back on how much food you're eating. And plus you're not eating the kitten's food, and you don't have crappy roommates just leaving food out all the time that you would steal off the counters. Yeah, you happy? Are you a happy little cat? Okay. In the world of news, South Park, it was announced 2 days ago that South Park had signed a $1.5 billion, with a B, billion dollar deal for 5 more seasons with Paramount. And the minute that deal was inked, Trey Parker and Matt Stone went into a fervorish period of work and created an entire episode making fun of Trump's tiny little penis. And it is glorious. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. The White House is spinning. They're like, oh, South Park isn't relevant anymore. They just signed a $1.5 billion deal. I think it's pretty relevant at the moment. So there you go. Oh yeah. Lo B messaged me reminding me that it's Shark Week and that last year she sent me a shark shirt. So we've got our sharks, our Asian watercolor, Japanese watercolor shark shirt with plumeria, and I don't know what those are, daisies or something. The Epstein thing is still chugging right along. Ghislaine Maxwell, it appears as though she might be getting offered a commutation of her sentence or a pardon in agreement to not talk about Trump in any way, shape, or form. The problem is that the deputy attorney general went to go interview her, and normally you send other people than a prosecutor like that, because in an interview with a potential witness, you can now be called onto the witness stand and have to report on everything that was said in that conversation, and all of your notes now become public. So, oops, he can now be a witness in the lawsuit between Trump and Murdoch and the Wall Street Journal. These guys are so bad at everything they do. So the House managed to squeeze through a vote to subpoena all of the Epstein files from the FBI. 3 Republicans, Nancy Mace among them for some reason, crossed over to pass that resolution. It's likely the FBI will probably claim executive privilege and not give those documents over, but I don't know how they could actually claim executive privilege if Trump isn't mentioned in them, right? If he's mentioned in them, then they definitely will try, but what's happening in the world news? Cambodia and Thailand are in a scuffle. The president of Cambodia released a bunch of photographs of him in the war room with maps, and kind of a la president of Belarus style. Oops, tried to delete them all, but it was too late. The internet already had them. So now Thailand is fully aware of the movements that Cambodia plans to make in their little border scuffle. What's going on, Monkey? We got BBBY. A whole bunch of post-confirmation reports are coming out for various entities within the bankruptcy. This appears to be this type of stuff that comes out, when you're about to emerge, I guess. I don't know enough about it, but oh, sorry, I didn't mean that'll be in the face, cat. So tail. Tail? Okay. I don't know if there's other things. I can't remember what all I put in the thingamahoogie today. Trump went to go tour the Fed. So he becomes the fourth president in history to actually visit the Fed. The first was Roosevelt, who went there when it was created. Then we had, I think Gerald Ford went when there was a friend of his who got appointed to the Fed board. George W. Bush went to swear in Bernanke, I believe. And now Trump went. So 4 presidents over 90 years have visited. And Trump went to go and try to cut Powell down a peg and talk about cost overruns of the construction and whatnot. And he made a claim that cost overruns had gone to like $3.1 billion. And Powell's like, no. Well, I got it right here. And Powell's like, this is a building that was finished 5 years ago. Well, it's being built. He's like, no, it was finished 5 years ago. He's pretty adamant about that. So Trump looked like an idiot on national television trying to scoop Powell. Powell has job security. He's not giving a flying fuck what Trump cares about. Because Powell is owned by the big banks, and the big banks want him in there. So, there you go. Let's do the clickety-clack and the hoopy bop. And, because there was BBBY stuff today, we haven't done this one in a while. Boop. But that didn't happen. Try again. Boop. Nope. One more time. Boop. Why is nothing happening? What the hell? Okay. Browse. Where did you go? ¿Por qué? What happened? Not that one, not that one, not that one, not that one. There we go. That guy. Yeah. Why you not do thing? Boop, there it is. Haha. Okay, now it's time to scroll. Okay, where'd it go? Oh shit. No, I haven't. Wait, oh, no, where'd you go? Aha! I lost the video. I clicked on something and it went away. I don't know what's happening. The music's still playing, I think. What is wrong?
Houston, we have a problem.
I don't know what happened. Wait. Nope. Why did... I don't know what happened. Well, where'd you go? Where did you go? Oh, shit. No. Wait. Ah! Alright, we'll try one more thing. Nope, that's still not... Why didn't... What's going on? What's happening? Crap. Alright, well... I'm gonna get dinged by YouTube for something for playing that too many times. I don't know. You little fat guy. Okay, well. Alright. J Bear. First, J Bear, that South Park episode was pure gold. More. We might get more, because they've been kind of doing movies almost, like a season's play out over those 10 episodes as if it's a movie. So I'm guessing we're going to see him as a character as we did Saddam Hussein in like bigger, longer, and uncut and whatnot. J Bear South Park episode was pure gold. More. Kevin, second. 4ZZ9. Is it going to start? Someday. Chris Taylor, number 3. Were you 3? You're 4. You're 4. Rich Blackwell, Houston. The Epstein file is way out and is a way out and a way to save face for those with MAGA buyer's remorse. If I had known from the beginning, I never would have supported him. Ding, 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 ding. I mean, there'll be a group of people who still won't use that as an out. They will. They're so heavily invested, and they've lost so many friends and family, and it's become their entire personal identity. And they put vinyl wraps on their cars, and they're waving flags, and they got tattoos and stuff. So it's gonna be a lot harder for them to come to terms with what they've become. The QAnon shaman guy, he's over. I mean, he went to prison for Trump. And he's over it. He's all over Twitter being like, fuck this guy. So, yeah. Cat. Oh, someone pointed me to a TikTok earlier today. It might have been Iggy. About this woman talking about her dad. And her dad is a cop. And he's super MAGA. and how she doesn't think that this whole thing is going to break his spirit when it comes to Donald Trump, because he was a womanizing piece of shit himself. And that he identifies with men who can get away with these things more so than the horror of the crimes they committed. So there's going to be a subset who psychologically, like, well, he should be allowed to get away with it because I want to get away with it. And so there's going to be some camaraderie, I guess, in that parasocial relationship. So, but yes, I do think for the majority, you are correct. That is going to be a way for them to get out. And I'm really curious to see what Rupert Murdoch and the Wall Street Journal team have coming, because I think there's a lot more where this is coming from. And 9, watched the South Park episode last night and was in awe. Kind of ominous at the end when Cartman says he loves Butters after they were essentially trying to commit suicide. As if the episode will be the last. Nope. Because they got 5 more seasons after this. So there's 59 episodes at least to go. Okay, Seagill bought my Jimmy Puts Too Soon. Sold my Jimmy Puts Too Soon. Bought a call on the dip, taking advantage of the low implied volatility. All right. SJ's here. G'day. Justified farting. What does having a PCR and BBYQ mean to us? Twitter is blowing up this info. It's a post-confirmation reports, basically meaning like the actions that were taken in the plan, how they've commensurated, and what the outcome is. So these would be the reports that come out when, like, hey, we sold off this stuff, made this money to be able to pay these things off, and so on. Those are the reports. I'm not sure how many have to come out. I have no idea. I don't know if they have to come out for every action taken, for every subsidiary, because there's like 74 subsidiaries. I don't know. I don't know enough about that stuff. So, but I do know that somewhere along the line, you have to release these post-confirmation reports before a lot of the classes can get paid off. So, right, Kat? Coming back up here again? There you go. All right. Kevin Brandon, happy birthday, H-Dog. Trey and Matt for the win. Let's fucking go. It is pretty incredible how fast they can turn around and make an episode, and how they can fit it into the overall arch of a season. I remember in 2000, the day after Elian Gonzalez was basically taken from his aunt and uncle and then sent back to Cuba. And this is sometime, I think in the spring of 2000. And less than 20 hours later, Trey Parker and Matt Stone had an episode of South Park all about these quadruplets or whatever who get taken by the border customs people and sent back to Russia or wherever they're from. And then with the exact same scene, there's Kenny's mom holding him in a closet with the guy with the gun. And it's how quickly they can produce one of these things is insane. There was a 60 Minutes interview with them a few years ago. After they did their first big contract, I think it was for like $100 million. So it seemed huge at the time. And them talking about how insane their season is, because they don't really do much. They might gather some ideas here and there and whatnot. But when it comes to like doing the season, each week, like the week that the episode's about to premiere is when they start working on it. And it's just an insane 10 weeks where they're just going, they hate their lives, they hate everything, don't see anybody. All they're doing is making the show, getting the animations done, recording all the voices, writing all the dialogue, and then they pump it out in case stuff has to be like really up to date with the current events. And when they invented their software that allowed them to do their construction paper cutouts rather than actually doing the physical construction paper cutouts to make the animations, it got so much quicker. So yeah, I'm in awe of how much they can produce and how quickly they can do it. That's it. Relax, guy. Yeah, relax, guy. Satan, baby. Chris Taylor. Hi, Houston. Any luck with YouTube Cherry Tuesday? So far, no. I started a second ticket, hoping that maybe they'll find me a better engineer, and nothing has come of it yet. both times like, oh, just delete your old shows. And I did that. And it didn't allow me to have any more. And they're like, whoa, tough shit. They claim that it becomes some sort of like bookkeeping nightmare to have multiple charities, just more than 50 charity streams going on a channel. I don't believe that. I think someone arbitrarily put the limit as 50 and was just like, no one will ever do that many charity shows, and left it at that. And they probably can't find the freaking code in the giant spaghetti feed of YouTube to figure out exactly where that is and eliminate it so that we can do more charity shows. I'm hoping some savior will come along, or that, I don't know, I'll run into the CEO of YouTube and give him a piece of my mind. So I don't know when we're going to get to do charity shows again. No clue. So, right, monkey? Yeah. I don't know, can I do charity shows on other platforms? Like if I go and do the charity show over on Twitch and you guys all come over on Twitch, would that work? I have no idea. I've never done a charity show over there. We have to see if we can figure out how to do that. Bex, hey, Houston, happy birthday. One day at a time, my friend, one day at a time. I know, it's just putting the hash marks on the prison wall. That's all we're doing. Brandon Wells, sub BBBYQ, sub No Labs. No Labs has their vote. I think their meeting is tomorrow, right? So the votes have to be in by end of day tomorrow for on their massive dilution. I no longer have shares, therefore I no longer have votes, because when I saw that they're going to dilute, I was like, I'll get back in after all this crap happens. So yeah. But if you're still in, there's that. In BBBY, the PCRs are coming out. Rupert Trooper Houston. What's the spy play for the next couple of weeks? Tons of calls seem to be reported in the options flow. I think they pump and pump and pump and pump and pump until the first or second when, or I guess the first or fourth. Because the first is when the tariffs get slapped on. The fourth would be the next trading day after. And I expect... So... Yeah, they'll pump as much as they can up until that point. And here we are. Justified farting. Change of pace with trivia question. In the first remake of Star Trek, James Tiberius Kirk was introduced driving what car with what song on the radio? You're talking. He's driving, I believe, a '62 Corvette. And it had hair metal playing. It was... Oh shit, was it Quiet Riot? Crap, I remember it was hair metal. No! It might have been Guns N' Roses. Welcome to the Jungle? It was definitely a double lens first gen Corvette, which I believe was a 62. Corvette in... Star Trek. What the Star Trek Beyond? Star Trek Beyond was the 2009. Oh, the 65 Corvette. Damn, it was a Stingray. Crap. I thought it was a double lens. All right. So, Song was Sabotage by the Beastie Boys. God damn it. I knew I was all wrong all over the place. I got the Corvette part right. There you go. 65 Corvette. This is all your sabotage. All right. You win, I lose. We Wild. I haven't seen it since 2009, so that was 16 years ago. That's not too shabby. It's weird to think that was 16 years ago. I remember when this was all fresh and new. We Wild Houston. Hello from Greece. Oh, you're in Greece. I'm on 2 weeks holiday with the family enjoying the Peloponnese region. It's a bit hot, but stunning beauty, amazing beaches, and the food. I hear a little further north, everything's on fire at the moment. They're having some massive fires there on the mainland. So stay safe. I know it's hot as hell. So, Fabrizio's plopping. Azima God, do with nub. Dino Slam. I don't even know what that means. Rupert Trooper, Houston. Seems the adversary case got dismissed with prejudice. Bobby Cat Post says Dream of Me stopped paying their lawyers and Goldberg dismissed the case. Seems sus. Why? I have no idea, because apparently Dream on Me never even responded to the adversary case. So why it got dismissed with prejudice without even a response from Dream on Me? I couldn't begin to explain it to you. Doesn't even make sense. Normally, you would dismiss because the other party's like, hey man, this isn't right. We need to dismiss this thing, and then or you get some sort of agreement. But yeah, Dream on Me stopped paying their lawyers and seems to have just sort of evaporated into thin air. So I don't know what's going on with them. Luminous Reflections, 17. Whoa-hoo. Happy birthday, Houston. Any word on your Canadian interviews? Congrats, Monkey Butt. Not a peep. I got a notification like, hey, we're going to send out interview times, and then silence. So, I don't know. I got to keep looking and applying and do all that stuff. Which one of you was it that said they wanted me to come to Australia? Monkey Butt, come to Australia. You want to come to Australia? You want to come to Australia, fat cat? Yeah. Yeah, you want to go eat some poisonous animals out there? Yeah. Citizen 54, I hope Trump sues South Park creators. Discovery will be hilarious. Show your peen, you orange peen head. It would be funny if they're like, well, Mr. President, you got to drop trow. Let's see if it's right or not. If anything, I mean, Jay Powell definitely had big dick energy in that live feed today at the Fed construction. So, Kelly Reed, happy birthday, HW. Crazy how Trump is really asking people to Venmo to pay off the national debt. You can now Venmo the government to reduce the massive national debt. Oh, yes, please do. Like I understand that you're just adding to the deficit by like $5 trillion of tax cuts for the rich. But please, would you please just Venmo $4 or $5 at a time? Help pay off the tax cuts for a bunch of rich people? If this crap carries on, dude, I am so out of here. I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay for rich people to get a whole bunch of tax cuts and then not have a National Weather Service or Oceanographic Atmospheric Administration or NASA or parks or anything else that makes living worthwhile. Like, why? Why would we even contribute to a society like that anymore? If all we're doing is ensuring that rich people get contracts fed to them and then don't have to pay taxes on any of the cash they just made, screw that. Screw that, man. Snurler. Oi, Houston. Oi, Kevin Rendon. Show about to start and only 6 likes. Let's go, friends. Well, you know, sometimes you like it, sometimes you don't. By all means, like away. Sturtlert, hi everyone. Please upvote for second intro. KCB. Trump pulling a fast one. Powell, hilarious live fact checking him from Powell. Over renovation budget. Trump added another building and then said, see, you're over budget as grounds to fire Powell. Wow. It's so stupid. It's so dumb. Folks who interviewed Trump need to understand how easy it is to get him flustered and to get him just like, because he responds like a chicken in a pecking order. Like if you think you're the cock of the walk and someone comes along and is like, no, I am. He's like, whoa. That's how bullies work. Just watch the interviews from Barbara Walters back in, was it early 90s? She interviews Trump and to his face basically calls him a lying piece of shit over and over again. And nothing Trump could do about it. She did not let it go. She hammered him in a way I don't think he's ever been hit, even in like depositions. I don't think he's been hit that hard as Barbara Walters did. And he was all over the place. This is back when he had much more cognitive faculty than he does now. So, yeah, you hit him. You question him. You point out where he's lying and say, no, I'm not going to accept that as an answer. That's bullshit. We answer the question properly. I don't know if you remember, there was a Vanity Fair article called After the Gold Rush, which was published in 1990. So it was about the breakup between Trump and Ivana and how Marla Maples and everything, plus the massive bankruptcies that were happening all around him. And in it, they point out that Trump received, as a gift, a book called Our New Order. And Our New Order is a collection of Hitler's speeches. And that Trump was obsessed with this book. He took it everywhere with him. It was pretty much the only book he ever read. He kept it in the nightstand. When he'd travel, he'd bring it with him for a long time. He just would read these speeches over and over and over and over. And Barbara Walters asked him about it to his face. And he was like, oh, I mean, yeah, a friend gave me that book. I may have glanced at it before, but, you know, I don't know. So he confirmed that he received the Hitler book. In 2015, 2016, it gets brought up again. He's like, that never happened, right? So you know that he's a lying sack of shit. No matter what he does, he's a liar. The only book he's ever read happens to be a collection of Hitler's speeches. So yeah, you can challenge him. He might at this point be like, well, you're no longer part of the White House press corps. Okay. Well, at least you made history, right? Like, grow a pair. Being afraid of no longer having access, but then not using your capital with that access to actually hold, you know, truth to power, means that you don't deserve that access in the first place. So just hold him accountable at this point. Talk about Epstein. Talk about, you know, his past. Talk about every shitty thing he's ever done. Get him on there, be like, it's a hoax, it's a hoax, it's a hoax. Because Trump's pathological need to call everything that he's ever done a hoax, even though everything is extremely well documented with, you know, audio tape, videotape, signed documents, witnesses, corroborating witnesses, co-conspirators. It is phenomenal just how much is a hoax. He's Jesus. He's never sinned in his life. He's never done anything wrong. He never had any contact with the mafia. He just happened to hire a whole bunch of Polish illegal immigrant slaves to do all the concrete work in his buildings, who happened to be controlled by the Russian mafia. He had nothing to do with any of that, right? He barely knew Jeffrey Epstein. They just happened to travel on his plane 7 times, and the first time he fucked his current wife was on his plane, and, you know, they molested ladies together. But, you know, he never met the guy. It's just silly. Says 54, J. Powell fact checks Trump live. Cheeto rage incoming. Indeed. Julius Mammy. Anyway, where's my $5,000 Doge check? It's in the mail. I saw a video earlier where MAGA is convinced that August 1st they're going to start getting like piles of money from the government because Trump talked about how his tariffs are bringing in so much cash. That's not how it works. The money coming in is money you are paying to him. Those tariffs are you paying money. It's like, it's not a savings account. You give the government money so you can buy products, and then they hold that money and give it back to you again so you can do it all over again. No, that's not how any of this works. That's not how it works at all. Teresa Amendola does a wave. Turkish feeding time. Who's first, Chalupa or Monkey Butt? Well, Chalupa is asleep. Monkey Butt is also asleep, but I can do the lean back and see what happens, right? Oh, is that enough to make you aware of what's going on, Monkey Butt? Huh? Huh, Monkey? Zip you up. Oh, I'm almost out of the figures. These lasted a long time. There's 2 bags of them, and they've lasted forever. Crap falling from the ceiling. Monkey Butt. You want it? Yeah? Come on. Come on, Monkey Butt. Come on. Yeah. So we went to the vet. They had scheduled appointment for both the cat and the dog at the same time. And Monkey, we get to the vet. Monkey's like, She used to love going to the vet until this year when they had to take her leg. And so she sees the vet tech. She's like, we go in. And they're like, we talked to your oncologist. And she's like, can't do the vaccines. But we still would love to see Monkey Butt because she's our little favorite. And all the vet techs come and say hi to her. Monkey's still like, And then the vet who did the surgery is like, Monkey Monkey Butt. Monkey Butt's like trying to run away from this poor woman. Like, get away from me. No, don't come anywhere near me. You're the one who took my leg. The vet was just like, oh, I'm so sorry, little sweetie. The monkey was still a good girl, even though she was terrified. And then she had to be in the vet room while Triple Batman got his shots. Then she was definitely wanted to. She would have pulled the car home if I let her. But they love you, monkey. They're so sorry they had to take your leg, but it had a big old tumor in it and it broke. So I know it sucks, but you're tumor free. Yay! Right? Yeah. Okay. Blah. Cal Garibaldi. I only brought up the pen palette the other day because I mentioned that your followers are kind of like pen pals. Pen palette, pen pals. People who haven't met in person before, so don't worry about it. Just some confusion. I was thoroughly confused. I feel like I have a couple hundred pen pals at this point because of how many messages a day I get. It's not. I mean, I'm not sitting down writing a letter and putting it in the mail, and a week later, but I do get a lot of those to my post office box. By all means, if you want to send things to the post office box, it's down there. I love getting letters from people. Every once in a while I get hate mail, and that's even more treasured. I'm like, oh, they took the time to send a bunch of bile to me. But yeah, I also get kick-ass shirts like this in the old P.O. box. Treats for Monkey Butt. Those are always appreciated, right, Monkey? Yeah. So, heck yeah. I love it. Oh, shoot. I missed Super Chats. Oh, crap. Wrong conclusion, Super Chatted. I missed this in here. Have you heard that maybe lowering the margin requirement for pattern day trading, I believe, to $2,000? Yes, there's a discussion to lower pattern day trading to $2,000. I'm okay with that. Sometimes kind of a pain in the butt to keep $25K in an account to do my shitty little day trades. I don't understand why you even have to have a bunch of money in your account. Like, why do they even care? It seems to me like it's a way to keep folks from, enjoying the market to its fullest. So, yeah, I'm okay with that being reduced. Juice Mammy, Trump's FCC approves Paramount Skydance merger after blocking it days after Colbert was fired, weeks after CBS paid $36 million to Trump to settle lawsuit. Yeah, there's no need to ever settle a lawsuit with Trump ever. He has never won one. He loses. He's currently suing Wall Street Journal and Rupert Murdoch, who are like, we're going to destroy you. Remember the Steele dossier, the sort of put together rumor and innuendo that Christopher Steele collected on behalf of first originally Republicans, paid for the original part of it, and then the Clinton campaign ended up paying for the rest of it. And in it they talk about funding Guccifer 2.0, different Russians who handled Trump in the past, connections to sketchy people in Eastern Bloc countries. Trump sued Christopher Steele twice and lost twice. When he sues for defamation or otherwise, he loses. So the only reason Paramount Skydance settled that lawsuit was because they wanted their merger to go through. If Trump was not president, if Harris was president right now, they would never have settled that case. Oh, you're sliding. They would have gone to court, mopped the floor with Trump, but because they wanted that precious merger to go through, which never should have gone through in the first place. There's too much media mergers. I think every media merger from this point forward should be rejected on just those grounds alone. It's silly. But yeah, it definitely was. CBS firing Colbert was the last thing in the negotiation for that merger to go through. The problem with Paramount Skydance is that this is an $8 billion merger, right? Colbert, #1 program in late night. Their YouTube page alone has made over $105 million. If you start policing the shows under your banner that made you successful, made you worth $8 billion for a merger, you're going to lose the shows, you're going to lose the audience. And then what do you have? You have a limp, worthless, impotent network that no one likes. And it's not worth the $8 billion you just paid to do the merger. You bought CBS because of IP like Colbert, because of IP like South Park, etc. And now you're stuck paying $1.5 billion, essentially about a sixth of your entire merger, to a show that just shredded Trump. Absolutely just eviscerated him. So yeah. Yeah, and you got none of them off down there, meta-settled because they wanted their case thrown out. Like, this is stuff that under a normal presidency would be considered graft and corruption and would be impeachable offenses. But under this government, that's how things work. These are crimes. If you are threatening mergers because you aren't getting what you want out of this, that's a crime. That's bribery. So, yeah. When this is all said and done, everyone needs to be going to prison. You need to collect all the executives at Paramount and Skydance who approved this, throw their ass in prison for graft and corruption and bribery. All the people in the FTC and the White House who accepted that bribery, throw their asses in prison too, right? For extortion, for accepting bribery, for graft, for corruption. The Truth and Reconciliation trials and hearings that will take place will be phenomenal, because there's going to have to be a purge of the bureaucracy in the government. Basically, anyone who were like, yes, sir, I will do that, sir, who agreed to illegal orders in the government is going to have to get cleaned out, because all those ICE dudes who really aren't ICE members, but they're more bounty hunters and militia members and stuff, prison for the lot of them. Send them all, never let them out, and clean up the streets that way. It's the garbage. Michael Harrow, Stephen Colbert should be a guest voice in South Park from now on. Why not? He was Harvey Birdman attorney at law for a long time, so he's got the chops. Hazel A. Guess Hulk Hogan was the third. Always heard deaths come in threes. Cardiac arrest, they say. Guess you can't tell from the muscular outside what's going on the inside. He's probably like a SUV with a 1.5 liter 80 horsepower engine at this point. But yeah, Hulk Hogan's gone. Oh well. Turns out he was a giant racist clown. So, yeah. Although there was a tweet from last night where it's like, partying hard with Hogan. Woo! He's feeling great. We're having a great time. And then he dropped dead. So, interesting. Julius, was he vaxxed? Jay, Houston, I saw something saying he may be mentioned because he was the whistleblower who alerted authorities to what he was doing back in the day. Any possibility in this case? He might be mentioned. Who's he? Jay? I'm not seeing who you're referring to. Who might be mentioned because he's a whistleblower who alerted authorities to what he was doing back in the day? I need clarity. Give me some clarity, Jay. Fred Jones. Totally. Hazel A. Julius, if you're talking to me, he was MAGA, so probably not vaxxed. Jay, Trump mentioned Epstein files. Oh, Trump was the whistleblower, and that's why he's mentioned Epstein files? No. He was not a whistleblower. He fully partook in everything that happened with Epstein. Pit bosses at the casinos have spoken about how Trump and Epstein got in trouble because they brought underage girls into the casinos. Right? That like regulators were there like, whoa, these girls aren't old enough. And he's like, how do you know that? Because one of them was a famous tennis star at the time who they was known to be underage. So like they did horrible things with kids. He was not a whistleblower in any way, shape, or form. You don't do the shit that they did through the 80s and 90s and early 2000s and all of a sudden like be like, you know what? It's been wrong that I molest these teenagers and underage girls at my modeling agencies. I've seen the light. I'm going to turn on Epstein. No, that's not what happened. Just Mammy. Anywho, you get your douche check. Ragnar, how big is Trump's peen? Epu. Fabrizio, my boyfriend that's a Trumper is now scratching his head going, what the fuck? Ha ha. Jaceki, what is your guess for what is Push Start Arcade from GameStop? You know, there was a post, was it last week, week before, from someone claiming to be an insider saying it's just going to be an adult arcade. Basically, you're going to have, like Dave and Buster's, you have a card that's attached to your identity. It'll remember from game to game what your skins are, what your weapons are, etc. And it will have rewards points, and you can buy alcohol and party hardy. I wouldn't doubt if it's one of those things. There's a desperate need for third spaces for people. And especially post-COVID, like restaurants and bars aren't quite where they used to be. And a lot of that might be from folks where COVID resulted and they can't drink anymore. Ozempic is cutting down on the amount of food they eat, the amount of alcohol they consume. Basically, it looks like COVID and Ozempic is like killing off a large portion of the alcohol industry in the United States, which is bad for the people who grow vines and hops and barley and make the stuff, but probably good for the overall health of Americans. So third spaces where people have other activities to do than just eat that are in communities is probably a big growing market. I know Chuck E. Cheese is looking into creating sort of an adult-themed arcade as well. Then you have your David Buster's. You have your, what's the big one in downtown Seattle, Monkey, that's owned by Spielberg and Game something. Game Town, it's huge. It's like 5 floors and massive. So, yeah, it's that's what I think it's going to be. I wouldn't doubt, because it seems like the picture kind of looks like an arcade when they did that little 8-bit graphic thing with the bunny. Ragnar Boomer shirt going wild. This shirt's awesome. This is Japanese watercolors for the Sharks for Shark Week. And Ragnar says Trump's on the list. 100%. James Danker. It shouldn't have taken the raping of young girls for people to finally have a way out of the Trump cult. And even then, I don't think it's going to work on a lot of them. Yeah. Ragnar says Trump used kids' beauty pageants to groom and and then Louis says Trump raped kids. Yes, he did. Louis Powell punked out pedo Trump in real time today. He did. Amber, Trump was found guilty of felonies and found liable for fraud and sexual abuse. It made the GOP love him even more. Would it even matter to them if Trump flew to Epstein Island multiple times? For a lot of them, it won't. But I think a lot of them, I don't know what the proportionality of the MAGA crowd is. There's so many of them who are tied up in QAnon and who believe there's this giant cabal and that Trump is going to fix it all. And if it turns out Trump is a part of that thing, I think those people may have some come to Jesus moments, namely because they've lost so much from these belief systems that they have. They've lost friends, they've lost family, their children won't talk to them. And so it may be kind of like the wake-up call they need. I don't know how many will fall to that. Will finally be like, oh, I've rock bottom. But it already seems like some of them, the QAnon shaman dude and others, have been like, nope, I'm done, I'm out. There was speculation that the kid who shot at Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, that he was a victim of child abuse. And he was big-time QAnon, big-time anti-Epstein, blah, blah, blah. And then some documents came forward from Wolf and others pointing out that Trump was a part of it. And that there may have been some sort of Trump falls from the pedestal type moment for him where he's like, oh my God, this person I revered as a god on earth is in fact the opposite. He is the Antichrist. And that may have led to his assassination attempt. So, when you're dealing with folks, especially folks who might be like, you know, what's the term? What I'm looking for? Borderline personality. So you have folks that have suffered trauma, right? They're PTSD, CPTSD, especially if it might be sexual violence, violence as a child, etc. You can develop these personality disorders, and personality disorders, they are treatable. It's a cluster B range, but it's actually one of the few cluster Bs that there's treatment for. You can do dialectic behavioral therapy, you can do counseling, trauma counseling, all sorts of stuff to kind of work on your way through it. But some of the symptoms of these borderline personality disorders is reverence. I mean, if there's anyone who's a psychologist here, you can talk about this better than I can. But you will find folks who are think, oh, this is the perfect human being, and you put them up on this pedestal, and you revere them, and you're like, this is someone meant to be worshipped. And the minute you notice a flaw in them, you rip that pedestal down. They become your greatest enemy in the entire world. My stalker definitely has this. I'm not a clinical psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, but from my reading, like, this dude definitely has borderline. And the minute he sees a flaw in you, he can't let it go, and he's on it like a pit bull. And he will spend the rest of his life trying to destroy you, do whatever. And I think a lot of the folks who are in this QAnon movement may have experienced trauma like this as a kid. They may have found a movement that helps make sense of what they went through. You know, it was their dad, it was their uncle, it was their brother, it was whatever, who their priest, their baseball coach, their Cub Scout leader, right? And it is a random, chaotic experience, especially 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, when there wasn't an outlet, when you couldn't be like, excuse me, Mr. So-and-so touched me, and then the police would come down on him, and the FBI, and they would find all sorts of, paraphernalia in their house. And it wasn't like that. You basically suffered in silence for a long time and did not get treatment for whatever mental issues and trauma that came out from that. And so I think a lot of folks tied up in QAnon are probably victims of this. They didn't have the proper outlets they had back then. And so now they're clinging to something because in their minds, because of the QAnon stream they get fed, Trump is taking care of it. He's getting rid of all those Cub Scout leaders and all those pedophile priests and everything else. But slowly, as information comes out, you find that he's not doing any of those things. Like, they just passed a law today, or trying to pass a law, that no longer requires priests to report predators who come into their confessionals. So it used to be, everything went in the confessional was, secure, whatever goes in there never leaves. A law got passed saying, hey, if someone confesses to you to, like, raping little kids, you have to report to the police. Simple. And now Trump administration is trying to strip that law. So they're basically protecting pedophiles at this point. Which is piss poor timing, especially with all the Epstein file stuff that's coming out. So I think that a lot of those QAnon folks they're going to have that fall from grace moment where their chosen God king is up on that pedestal, all of a sudden turns from this beautiful toga white Greek god into this shit covered hell demon, and they will turn on him faster than anything else. So I think that's coming. Marvin G, watch Architecton trailer. I've never heard of it. Architecton. 2044 documentary film by Victor Kozłowski about the ways that stone and concrete architecture express the values of society. Okay. I'll check that out. Word. May 24? All right. Probably going to be delightfully weird. Noted. I'll check that out. Just Mammy with a green chat. Epstein's birthday album just dropped. Sent to you via Blue Sky. Bill Clinton, Leon Black, Alan White Underwear Dershowitz. I'd be curious to see what everyone else's thing. Let's take a gander, shall we? Let's go B Sky. Chat. Oh, did you link it? Notifications. There we go. Here's the birthday album from Wall Street Journal. So Wall Street Journal's, they are coming in hot. All right, so I got to go to Chrome. Boom. Nope, that is not what I wanted. Chrome. What the hell? Chrome, do your thing. Why are you? Something is wrong with everything at the moment. No? That's not what I wanted. What's going on? Why are you being such a jerk face? Okay. Chrome. Something is... No, that's not... You. Okay, I guess I go... There? Okay. That's not what I want. I want to capture, window. That's what I want. There we go. Okay. Okay, done. How come you're not appearing? What went on with you? Why? Wow, for fart's sake, why are you so tiny? What the heck? Okay, you go big. Oh, I figure out why. Because I'm in the wrong one. For fart's sake. You go away. You turn off. I need to be on scene. That's where I need to be. For crying out loud, man. Okay, there we go. I apparently forgot how to use everything. Okay, so. Jeffrey Epstein, biggest name in Jeffrey Epstein's birthday book, back to the 3 was past president rather than the future one. Epstein's former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, was keen for Bill Clinton and other bold-faced names to submit letters for the special gift, according to people involved in putting it together. In the end, she was successful. The leather-bound album, assembled before Epstein was first arrested in 2006, included a page with a single paragraph in Clinton's distinctive scrawl. It's reassuring, isn't it, to have lasted as long across all the years, learning and knowing adventures, and illegible word, and also have your childlike curiosity, the drive to make a difference, and the solace of friends. Well, that's as generic as possible in that one. Spokesman for Clinton declined to comment on the birthday message, which was reviewed by the Journal. He referred to the Journal as a previous statement that the former president had cut off ties more than a decade before Epstein was arrested in 2019 and didn't know about the Epstein's alleged crimes. Former president was among around 6 people, including Donald Trump, Wall Street billionaire Leon Black, fashion designer Vera Wang, and media owner Mort Zuckerman, who ended up with letters in the 2003 book, according to the documents reviewed by the Wall Street Journal. Okay. The letter bearing Trump's signature, which had the outline of naked woman, was one of the more memorable pages, according to the people involved putting the album together. Trump has called the letter a fake thing. The professionally bound birthday book had multiple volumes and included a table of contents that listed the contributions organized into groups. While many letter writers weren't famous, some categories had notable people. Clinton and Trump were listed under the Friends group, along with about 20 other associates, such as Black, Zuckerman, former Victoria's Secret leader Leslie Wexner, attorney Alan Dershowitz, and the late Jean-Luc Brunel, who helped run MC2, the child modeling agency that Epstein had, and who also committed suicide in a French prison. Who ran a modeling agency. Zuckerman didn't respond to requests for comment. A business group included the late Alan Ace Greenspan and late James Jimmy Kane. Both men worked at Bear Stearns. Epstein was at the investment bank in the 1970s. Other people were grouped under categories such as science, Brooklyn, and family. Love and kisses. Some messages were anodyne with birthday wishes. Others were bawdy and made crude jokes about sex, according to documents reviewed by the Journal. A letter from Nathan Myhrvold, a billionaire and former Microsoft executive, said he was sending photos from a recent trip to Africa. They seemed more appropriate than anything I could put in words, said the letter, which ended with a typed Nathan, followed by photos of a monkey screaming, lions, zebras mating, and a zebra with its penis visible. A spokesman for Myhrvold says she doesn't recall submission and that he is a wildlife photographer who regularly shares photos of and writes about animal behavior. Spokeswoman said Myhrvold Mirvold, sorry, only knew Epstein because he attended TED conferences and was a donor to scientific research. Was TED a thing in 2003? I think the first TED videos I saw may have been like 2005. Well, I'm going to look up something real quick. TED. Where's the Wikipedia page? TED film, TED conference. Okay. Oh, found in 84. Okay, so it's been a lot longer. Maybe it's just popped up on the internet in like that time. Okay. Launched, first conference, 35 years ago, first annual event was in 1990. Okay, it's been around longer than I thought. I thought first time I ever saw a TED anything was, I guess, in like 05. Maybe that's when they started with their internet presence. Anyway, okay. Back. Where was I? Right here. I lost my spot. Oh, TED conferences and was a donor to scientific research. Submission with Black's name had a handwritten poem with a rhyme scheme. The poem included the acronym VFPC with asterisks that said Vanity Fair Poster Child, a reference to a magazine profile of Epstein that was in the works. 2 lines of the poem read, blonde, red, or brunette spread out geographically with his net of fish. Jeff's now old man in the sea. It was signed Love and Kisses Leon. Spokesman for Black, the co-founder of Apollo Global Management, declined to comment on the letter. Black has said that he met Epstein around 1996 and paid him for tax and estate planning. He said he regretted having had any involvement with Epstein. Apollo said in 2021 that a legal review found Black paid Epstein a total of $158 million from 2012 to 2017, including $10 million for Epstein's charity, and found no evidence Black was involved in Epstein's criminal activities. $158 million, with only $10 million of that being for charity, for estate planning? That is insane. Hey, Leon Black, I will help you with estate planning for significantly less than $158 million. That is ridiculous. Okay. Letter from Vera Wang, fashion designer, joked about putting Epstein on The Bachelor and suggested they go on a shopping tour. Wang didn't respond to requests for comment. The designer told the Journal in 2023 that she regrets ever associating with Epstein. A letter from Zuckerman, who was owner of the New York Daily News, said that he had searched the newspaper for information about Epstein and joked he was born in Liechtenstein and had a wife and 3 children. Zuckerman didn't respond to requests for comment. Assembling the album, Maxwell enlisted the help of assistants and others to assemble the album according to the people familiar with the process and people who received invites. Maxwell requested drawings, photos, stories from Epstein's associates to celebrate his 50th birthday. As the letters and images came in, they were scanned into a computer. Some people who assisted in the project recalled seeing the Trump and Clinton pages among the documents. At the time, the letters were taken to the New York City bookbinder to create a calfskin album. Brad Edwards, a lawyer who has represented more than 200 of Epstein's victims, said on MSNBC Wednesday evening that he has multiple clients who remember the birthday book. The existence of the book is an absolute fact, Edwards said. Jeffrey Epstein's brother, Mark Epstein, told the Journal he recalls Maxwell putting together the book for his brother's birthday. The album included a note from Mark Epstein. Several digital copies of the album have been created. Pages have been reviewed by Justice Department officials who investigated Jeffrey Epstein and Maxwell years ago. According to people familiar with the matter, the album is part of Epstein's estate. It's unclear if any of the pages of the album are part of the Trump administration's recent review of the Epstein files. Epstein died in jail in 2019, blah, blah, blah. Maxwell seeking overturn of conviction, blah, blah, blah. Biggest name in the album was Clinton, who left the White House in 2001. Clinton was photographed with Epstein and Maxwell at a White House event in 1983, socialized Epstein in the 2000s as Manhattan Townhouse. Epstein hung a painting that depicted Clinton wearing a blue dress and red heels, according to people who saw it. Clinton took 4 trips on Epstein's private jet and once visited Manhattan Townhouse, each time with a Secret Service team and for reasons related to Clinton Foundation's work, Clinton's spokesman said in 2019. Trump, who also socialized Epstein in the 1990s and 2000s and late 80s as well, said in 2019 when Epstein was arrested that he hadn't talked to him for about 15 years. On July 17th, the Journal published an article about the letter with Trump's signature. The next day, Trump sued the Journal's reporters, Journal publisher Dow Jones, parent company News Corp, and executives calling the letter non-existent and alleging the article defamed him. Spokesman for Dow Jones said, "We have full confidence in the rigor and accuracy of our reporting and will vigorously defend against any lawsuit." The letter from Wexner, the retail billionaire, contained a short message and a line drawing what appeared to be a woman's breasts. Wexner declined to comment through a spokesman about his letter. Wexner previously said he cut ties with Epstein in 2007. The letter from Dershowitz, who represented Epstein in the first criminal case in the 2000s, included a mock-up of Vanity Fair magazine with a mock headline. "It's been a long time, and I don't recall the content of what may have been written," Dershowitz said. Okay. Well, there you go. And it's time for me to get going. So, ta-da! There you have it. Okay. Oh, crap. Well, I got into the show anyway, so I might as well end on double intro. Shark Week. Thank you for the shirt, Lobie. Oh, I still love it. Okay. All right. Dog, cat, everybody at home. I'll see you tomorrow. Manana. We'll see what else is happening in the world. I'm sure Trump is like spinning right now. So, later, skaters, right?